All right, that's all right. That's Greg Papa. Touchdown. Welcome to this another edition of Niners Radio 49, 49ers Live, Monday Night Live, the aftermath tonight with Professor B here on Niners Radio 49. And we're here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios here in San Francisco, known as Candlestick Man Cave. Welcome. Hope you guys enjoying tonight. I know you guys, a lot of the faithful, still licking their wounds after that heartbreaking loss last night or yesterday afternoon against the Seattle Seahawks, and Niners falling 20-17 to the Seattle Seahawks as they blew another fourth quarter lead. As the 49ers now fall to back to 500 at 5-5 after winning two in a row. The previous weekend, they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and then end up beating Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football 2 weeks ago. So, Niners missed a golden opportunity to pick up some or to be within a tie for first place, but the Arizona Cardinals were off this weekend. The Rams also won, so the Niners, it's a three-way tie for second place, and the Niners are dead last in the NFC West with a 1-3 record. Because of a 1-3 record, as all three of the games the Niners end up losing has been decided by by at least 3 points or less. So that's just the way it is right now. Niners are not getting it done, and we're going to have our open line. If you want to come on tonight, talk 49er football, we'll have the open lines at 628-239-8475 is the hotline number. It's 628-239-8475 is the hotline number if you want to come and talk 49ers football tonight. So we also, hopefully we're going to try... So we will have in our segment we will have Kyle Shanahan's Monday recap presser with the media on the conference call, give you an update what's going on with the 49ers as they move forward, and then and then we also going to have in our segment we're going to take a look back at the 1984 49ers as we continue to celebrate their 40th anniversary. Well, this time we take a look back to the of week number 12 when the Niners taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're gonna at this time we're gonna take a look of Kyle Shanahan's press conference, or actually his conference call earlier today, give us the state of what's going on with what's going on with what's going on with the team. Where do they go from here? How they could bounce back? Live injuries. Nick Bosa got that oblique thing on both sides of his hip. That's a very, very delicate injury. This is something where pitchers end up getting an oblique strain, and that does take forever to heal. So right now we're gonna go to that segment, Kyle Shanahan's press conference, or in just a moment, we'll go to the we'll so we'll definitely go through that in just a few. So we will so we'll go to that first. Look back of 1984, and then we're also going to have in our flashback segment. We'll talk with, or we're going to have a flashback with Bill Walsh and the late Wayne Walker. Of course, he was a longtime sports director for KPIX, CBS 5. He did for so many years in the Bay Area. Had a show called Wayne Walker's 49ers Preview. Used to be on KPIX Channel 5. This show used to come on every Sunday during the football season, right before the NFL Today on CBS commenced. That just come on, which was followed by Wayne Walker's Preview. 49ers Preview came on exactly about around 9 o'clock local time on KPIX CBS on KPIX Channel 5, right before the NFL Today at 9:30 a.m. our time for the early games on CBS. So we, as of course, so we'll be just taking a look of the 49ers going forward. Hope you guys come on. If you want to talk 49ers football tonight, our hotline number is 628-239-8475. That's 628-239-8475. And just a reminder again, we're coming on a little bit late because of the game. We usually come on at 8:30, but because of the Monday Night Football game between the Cowboys and the Texans, which the Texans won big, 34-10, we decided we wanted to wait a little bit because of out of respect and integrity. We want the I don't want to be airing 49ers live on doing the conflict with Monday Night Football. So I think out of fairness, we like to wait till the game is totally 100% concluded. So going on a little bit horseback, but we're going to have this show. So for the moment, well, so we're gonna what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna send it to Kyle Shanahan's press conference in just a few. Hope you enjoy it. And then when we get back, So, all right. So, I just had to. All right. So, we're going to right now send you to Kyle Shanahan's press conference, his presser, with just a little technical difficulties. And I'm wearing this nice new bump box cap. Program reminder, this week we'll have Niners Radio 49 tonight. We'll have another edition tomorrow. And we'll have 49ers Tailgate show. I'll be posting that up. We'll try to shoot for tomorrow to have it on there. We'll have it on 49ers Live tonight. And if you missed the show, no worries. We'll have it on YouTube. Check us out, youtube.com/@Niners Radio 49. Hotline number tonight is area code 628-239-8475. That's 628-239-8479. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button. Professor B here, Niners Radio 49. We continue right after this. We will go to Kyle Shanahan's presser coming up.
All right, guys. Injuries from the game. Jacob Cowing will be in the protocol. Caden Bethune has an MCL sprain. He'll be out a while. Nick Bosa, hip, oblique. We'll evaluate him throughout the week. Brock Purdy has some right shoulder soreness. He's day-to-day. That's it from the game. Go ahead.
Kyle, is there any update on Dre Greenlaw?
No update.
Meaning he'll stay on PUP this week?
Yeah, I think same thing I said last week. He's doing his mock practices on his own without players, and hope we'll get him back in practice next week.
You know,
How about Travarius Ward, Kyle? Did he rejoin the team yet?
Yes, he did. He was at our team meeting today. He'll be out a while. Nick Bosa, hip, oblique. We'll evaluate him throughout the week. Brock Purdy has some right shoulder soreness. He's day-to-day. That's it from the game. Go ahead.
Kyle, is there any update on Dre Greenlaw?
No update.
Meaning he'll stand on PUP this week?
Yeah, I think same thing I said last week. He's doing his mock practices on his own without players, and hope we'll get him back in practice next week.
How about Travarius Ward, Kyle? Has he rejoined the team yet?
Yes, he did. He was at our team meeting today.
Are you expecting him to be able to play this week then? And did he just come today, or was he at the game yesterday?
He was at the game yesterday. He did some workouts here over the weekend with Dustin Perry, our strength and conditioning coach. And we'll see how this week goes with him.
Hey, Kyle, is there a possibility that Nick Bosa actually plays on Sunday?
Yes.
And Bernardo's finger, he's fine, or does he have to play with any type of wrap or anything like that?
No, I believe he is fine because they didn't even mention him to me. He's not on this list at all.
Kyle, you and John have made a point of bringing in guys that self-starters, guys who love football. You don't have to really monitor that much, and I'm just curious as to 10 games into a season where it hasn't gone the way that anybody expected. Do you still see that the same resolve and the confidence and the enthusiasm that you need to see?
Yeah, what are you asking exactly?
I'm saying, with you have a team pretty much of self-starters that's used to a lot of success. They haven't had as much this year, and I'm wondering, do you still see that same resolve and the same confidence and the same enthusiasm at 5-5?
I'm still confused by your question, but yeah, we have guys who love football. I mean, enthusiasm at 5-5. I mean, it's not the same as when a record was last year, but I mean, in terms of, I think you're asking, like, do guys still work hard and play hard and try to get after it? And that's, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Get that?
Cal, do we know when Brock injured his shoulder?
No, I don't know when he did. No, I did in the game.
Right.
Kyle, is Kittle going to be a day-to-day situation again this week, or where does he kind of stand?
He should practice on Wednesday. I know it was close yesterday, so I think he should be good for practice on Wednesday.
And Kyle, how did Trent Williams come out of the game? It looked like he was kind of hobbling around, and it was really a game-time decision yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's sore today and stuff. Just talking to him, Toradol's wearing off and things like that, which is pretty painful. But we'll see how he comes in Wednesday. But I know he battled to play in that game, and really appreciated him getting through it and out there. And we'll see how he recovers here going into Wednesday.
Kyle, what was the general mood around the building today?
I think we were pissed off from yesterday. That was a tough loss. We had every chance to win it, and we didn't get it done. So I think guys were disappointed and upset, but nothing. I mean, we all know each other pretty well in here. We understand our expectations, and we had a good team meeting, addressed a bunch of the fourth quarter, kind of watched it all together, and then we broke up into our position meetings. But I think guys are pissed and ready to put that game behind us. Today's always a hard day to deal with it because of some of the frustration of what happened. And now I think our guys can't wait to get to Green Bay as fast as we can.
I know you always say that each play is different, but were there any kind of common threads that went through the issues in the fourth quarter? And, how many plays did you address with the team in that meeting?
I mean, when they took the lead 13-10 with 3 minutes to go in the third, The offense got the ball 2 more times, and our defense got the ball 2 more times. So we just addressed both of those drives. The offense had 2 chances to take it into our own hands, and we did that on one drive, and we did it on the other. And the defense had 2 chances to take it in their own hands, and they did on one drive, having a huge 4th down stop, getting us the ball back, and then the offense did it in the 4-minute. And then Seattle answered on that last drive. So we had that it's usually who has the ball plays in all of them. But those were the 2 issues.
You were asked about that play with late in the game, right before you punted, where it looked on the TV copy like maybe as a special teams coach went up to the line judge. If that had been a fourth and 1 instead of a 4th and 6, what were you prepared to do at that point?
I haven't thought about that since it didn't happen. But I'm sure if it was 4th and 1, we would have gone for it. We also would have been in much easier field goal range too. So I know it wouldn't have been a punt.
Did you follow up with the league on that, Kyle, and whether there was any recourse, whether they did call a second straight timeout?
No, I mean, I don't follow up with them. We'll send something in, but I mean, I talked to the refs on the field. I said, how'd they just get 2 timeouts in a row? And they said that they didn't. They had to they alerted them something that was wrong with something the refs were doing, and then they fixed it. But I thought they had timeouts because I thought I saw a guy run up there and call one. But I haven't seen a TV copy.
What did you think you got out of Gross Matos for his first time out? Did he play more than you expected because Bosa was out?
Yeah, they're
We will continue with 49ers Live tonight, the aftermath on Niners Radio 49. We'll take this quick time out. There we go. Oh, here we go. His status will be uncertain whether he'll be able to play against the Packers on Sunday. Dre Greenwald, he got a little bit of a ways, with him getting hurt in the Super Bowl last year and just and it's just right now the 49ers hopefully he could get back there real soon though. So the Niners of course will enjoy this day off and will have their regular day off on Tuesday. Then they get back to work to take on the Green Bay Packers on next Sunday at Lambeau Field. That will be the late window. Will be Fox's second game of the doubleheader. That will be at 1:25 kickoff time. I'll be on Fox, and I believe it's going to be Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady. Niners sit a game out of first place behind the Cardinals, and they're 2 games behind the Packers for the final last playoff spot in the NFC. So we are going to, right now in this next segment, we're going to take you back to 1984. 49ers taking on the from week number 11. Niners and Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing at Candlestick Park. We don't have no video footage from So what we're going to do is go back into the archives, we're going to take a look back at 1984, Niners and the Buccaneers. This is a Week 12 game. Niners taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Back to the regular season from 1984. That was, of course, their Super Bowl season. And we're going to take it back to week number 12. Niners taking on the it was from week 12 on November 4th or 18th on this date at Candlestick Park. The Niners taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As we go into the from Wikipedia, we'll share you we are going to switch it over to as so now we go to week 14 around the NFL scoreboard. So now we go to week number 12 around the NFL scoreboard on the Sunday. It was the New York Giants holding off the Cardinals 16-10 as Neil Lomax threw 4 interceptions in that contest. O.J. Anderson rushed for 111 yards in a losing effort. And then he also had 6 catches for 112 yards in the losing effort. So altogether, O.J. Anderson ended up getting he had 223 all-purpose yards in the losing effort as 223 yards and he ended up averaging 7.4 yards per touch. So 233 all total purpose yards for O.J. Anderson in the losing effort. And then, so with that loss, the Cardinals dropped to 6-6. The New York Giants improved to 7-5. And then in other games that probably don't matter, the Cleveland Browns picking up their 3rd win with a 23-7 win over the struggling Atlanta Falcons. As both teams, the Browns go to 3-9, Falcons fall to 3-9. Then the upset of maybe one of the bigger upsets of the day, the Buffalo Bills snap an 11-game losing streak. They pick up their first win of 1984 back in Week 12 on this date 40 years ago. 14-3 was the final score. Gary Huggaboon 2 for 242 yards and 2 interceptions. The veteran Joe Ferguson threw for 117 yards, 2 interceptions and a touchdown. As Greg Bell had a big monster day for the Bills, he ended up rushing for 206 yards on 27 carries, averaging 7.6 yards on the ground. And then Doug Cosby led the way for the Cowboys, 6 catches for 92 yards. So Bills go to 1-11. Dallas Cowboys drop to 7-5. And then it was the Chicago Bears eking one out against the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field, 16-14, as the Bears go to 8-4, Lions fall to 3-8-1. Then the big upset, another big upset, Green Bay Packers over the LA Rams 31-6, and that was a big important win for the Packers. Eric Dickerson rushed for 132 yards on 25 carries as he averaged 5.2 yards per carry. And then James Lofton had a big day for the future Hall of Famer. He had 6 catches for 129 yards as he averaged 21.5 yards per catch. Packers improved to 5-7. Rams fall to 7-5. And with the Niners win over, and then it was the Patriots putting a big 50-17 over the Colts in the Hoosier Dome. Colts go to 8-4, or correction, Patriots go to 8-4. Colts go to 4-8. Tony Eason threw 4 touchdown passes. He threw for 291 yards and 4 touchdown passes for the Patriots. And then it was the Bengals, or the Seahawks, over the Bengals 26-6 at the Kingdom in Seattle. Steve Largent, 6 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown. The Seahawks improved to 10-2, while the Bengals dropped to 4-8. And in Philadelphia, it was the Eagles upset the 2-time defending NFC champion Washington Redskins 16-10. So the Eagles improved to 5-6-1, while the Redskins dropped to 7-5. Correction. So they're now, and then it was the Oilers over the Jets as the Oilers pick up their second win of the year, 31-20. It was the defending Super Bowl champion Raiders over the Chiefs, 17-7 at the LA Coliseum. Yeah. But the big one of the day, Dolphins and the Chargers in 1984. The Dolphins coming in with the longest winning streak in the NFL, going back to the previous year, back to the latter part of 1983. They came in this game with a 16-game winning streak going back to the 83 season, and 16 in a row. They had won 11 in a row, 16 in a row going back to the previous year up to this point, and they've won 20. They've won 20 of their last 21 ball games since Dan Marino took over standing quarterback his rookie year back in '83. But it was the San Diego Chargers pulling off the upset of the year. They knock off the Dolphins 34-28 in overtime. And I'm just taking a look of there was a big time shootout in San Diego at the Jack Murphy Stadium. Both the Dolphins and Chargers have always had some great iconic games over the years. The overtime classic at the Orange Bowl in Miami back in '81, and the Dolphins got revenge on them in the '82 AFC Divisional Playoff in the strike season. There was some great iconic games on that date. So, looking at the stats of this game, as both the Chargers had 537 total net yards of offense, total yards of offense to the Dolphins 334. Both teams combined for 971 total yards of offense in this game at Jack Murphy Stadium. Like, the Dolphins came into this game knowing if they won, a win would have gave them they would have all but wrapped up the AFC East. But then now they're gonna. So the Chargers will have, or the Dolphins will have to wait one more week. Look at some of the numbers of the game. Dan Marino threw 338 yards, 2 touchdowns and interception. Dan Fouts, 37-56, 380 yards. He threw 1 interception, threw 4 touchdown passes. Ernest Jackson, 28 carries, 124 yards for the Bolts. Mark Clayton, 6 catches for 1 touchdown. Eric Sievers had a big day for the filling in for the injured Kellen Winslow. 12 catches for 119 yards and 2 touchdown scores. Dolphins fall to 11-1. Them and the 49ers are tied for the best record in football. The Chargers, who playing the role of spoiler, probably may not be enough for them to make the playoffs in 1984. They fall to 500 at 6-6, and then it was the Broncos over the Minnesota Vikings 42-21 at Mile High Stadium in Denver, as the Broncos was a lot. And John Elway in this contest drew for 218 yards and 5 touchdown passes, as the Broncos improved their record to 11-1, while the struggling Minnesota Vikings fall to 3-9. And then on Monday Night Football is the Saints over the Steelers 27-24. Saints are back at 500. They're 6-6, while the Steelers fall to 6-6. So hello? So right now we're going to take this quick time out, and then we'll be right back in a few moments. Professor B here at the Satellite Digital Media Studios. You're watching 49ers Live tonight, Monday night edition, the Aftermath on Niners Radio 49. All right, welcome back to Niners Radio 49, 49ers Live, Monday Night Live, the aftermath, as we continue on Niners Radio 49. So now in this next segment, it's gonna be a treat. So looking at back of the 1984 49ers, the Niners with that win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then you couple the fact the Rams losing to the Green Bay Packers in Week 12. And that was the big ups as the Packers upsetting the LA Rams at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. With the Rams end up losing their game. Ended up losing that game 31-6. Ended up losing 31-6. The Niners now have a commanding their record now, they're 11-1. They now have a commanding 4-game lead over the Rams. They have a 4-game lead over them. The Falcons, with their loss, are in the basement at 3-9, so they're pretty much done. The Rams they're 4 up on them, and then they have a 4-game lead up on the Rams, and they're 5 up on the Saints. The Niners pretty much now, as we're getting towards the stretch drive, now control their own destiny, and pretty much all intents and purposes are going to win the division with a 4-game lead with 4 games left to play. Niners pretty much are controlling their own destiny. They want to win that NFC West. They've already, they have already swept through their first round of divisional opponents. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks prior to that. They beat the Rams. I'm trying to think. 3 weeks earlier, they ended up beating the Rams 38-0 or 33-0 down at Anaheim Stadium, which in fact Joe Montana in the 80s had never lost to the Rams on the road in Anaheim. Down at Anaheim Stadium, down at the Big A. So the Niners already now have total command of the division. They have a 4-game lead ahead of the Rams with 4 games to play. So next week when we do our Niner Radio Flashback, the Niners' next opponent will recap as we continue our series. Next Monday, we'll look back on November 25th when the Niners taking on the New Orleans Saints at the Superdome. And Niners could pretty much wrap up the NFC West with a win over the Saints next. For the following week, we'll recap that game as we continue to do, or all year long, we'll be paying homage to the 1984 49ers 40th anniversary of their Super Bowl season. So right now, we're going to have a treat for you. We're going to go into to a Niners Radio flashback. We couldn't find any highlights of the 49ers Buccaneers game from Week 12, but we have a nice little special treat. We're going to take it back. This was an interview by Wayne Walker, interviewed Bill Walsh, talking about the Niners' first 2 Super Bowl wins of the 1980s. This was an interview he did from way back in 1987. You'll join that piece in just a moment. You're watching 49ers Live, the Monday Night Live, the aftermath on Niners Radio 49. We'll be right back.
I'm Wayne Walker, and joining us today is the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, Bill Walsh. We'll be taking a trip down memory lane, talking about the 49ers' 2 Super Bowl wins in the 1980s. Bill, I don't think most people realize how tough it is to win a Super Bowl.
Well, it really is, because so many things have to fit together over an extended period of time, and anything can go wrong along the way that would eliminate you.
It's the 1981 season. That's the one leading up to your first Super Bowl. And you have a very young team. In fact, you're starting 3 rookies in the defensive secondary. When was it during that season that you felt you could be a Super Bowl team?
Well, we really didn't know, but we thought we'd be contenders when we beat Dallas at Candlestick Park early in the year. Then as the season progressed, we had a great game against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and we're one of the few NFC teams ever to win there. So then it began to develop momentum, and we didn't know how good we would be until really the final game, and we won it.
You mentioned Dallas as an opponent. You played them again in the NFC Championship game at Candlestick. That was a great game that ended with Dwight Clark's catch. Now, what really surprised me in that game was the fact you were able to run on Dallas. Tell us about that.
Well, they played a nickel defense in which they substituted a number of pass rushers and defensive backs to stop the pass. And we had a sweep play that we'd run all year that's been very effective. And we just managed to block them effectively and get outside of them before they realized what was happening. And I think really, Wayne, each time we ran it, they thought, well, that'll be the last time they do that. And we ran 7 sweeps on that final drive.
You were very confident, I remember, going into that game. I know you told me in your workouts during the week, we're a little bit quicker than they are, and they don't know it.
Well, that was true. We'd beaten them badly earlier in the year. They still had the great team, the great tradition, but we were quicker. But if you'll recall that game, there were officials' calls and all kind of things kept them in it. And finally, they went ahead with just a few minutes to go.
Now you're in the Super Bowl, and it's going to be at the Silverdome in Detroit. Now, is pressure's off you then?
Well, not really. We realized after beating Cincinnati earlier in the year that they had a great team and a dominating physical team. And our hope was we'd get out on them early, get a lead early, and then hold them off, and that's just what happened.
You got a big play early. Cincinnati got the ball and was driving down the field on you. They were inside your 20-yard line, and Dwight Hicks made an interception. That had to be a big play in that one.
Well, that was a big play. We managed to keep them out of the end zone that entire first half, even though they threatened a number of times. We built a 20-0 lead, and that was about all we had left. Then we held them off that entire second half, and I give a lot of credit to that young team just with that tremendous determination to win that thing.
Well, you've been real good in your career about protecting leads, not sitting on them, but protecting leads. And you did the same thing in that game with Cincinnati. What did you tell your team at halftime?
Well, we thought we had to score again. I said we had to have at least 7 more points. Well, we got 6 more. And then we had to shut them down. And we had a great goal line stand, if you'll recall, that stopped them on one of their particular drives, only to have them come back again and score on us. But we forced them to use a lot of time before they could score. And then in the final analysis, if you'll remember, there was a great catch by Mike Wilson for a 20-yard gain, a couple of good runs, field goals, and then an interception by Eric Wright that made the difference.
You know, I was totally amazed during that game that your team was so loose. You had a bunch of young players. They're in a Super Bowl with all the hype going into it, and yet they were loose all week long. Now, how'd you do that with them?
Well, we had a lot of humor, and by that time we'd had a good win streak going. We were very, very confident. We'd beaten the Bengals before, and we were just young enough and foolish enough not to realize the consequences of the game, how big a game it really was. All those things added up to just the right attitude at the right time.
Let's move along now and go to the '84 season and your next Super Bowl. That was almost a miracle season for you with a great record, losing only once.
Well, that was a season you could see coming. If you remember, the year before, we were beaten out in the NFC Finals through some questionable calls, honestly. And so we knew we'd have the momentum going into the next year. Everything seemed to fit together. Our team was at its best, and everyone had a great year. And so it just was the dream season. We had some close games along the way, 2 or 3 of 6-point wins or 4-point wins. But in the big games, we were so strong. We had beaten the Giants earlier, and then in the playoffs, we were able to do it. So it was one of those years that everything fit together. And after those years are completed, and then you wait a few more years, you realize how tough it is to win one and how tough it is to have a great season like that.
You drew Miami as your Super Bowl opponent, but you had a couple factors going for you. First, you'd been in a Super Bowl before, and secondly, you were playing this one almost at home in Palo Alto. Those plus factors for you?
Oh, they really were. I think the preparation for the Super Bowl, having practiced at our regular facility, made a big difference. Because preparing for the Super Bowl, you really only get a week of practice. The second week, just prior to the game itself, is so hectic with the media crash and crunch. and the attention the public gives, you just don't have time to even think. You're really operating on nerve about that time. So that first week here in Redwood City practicing really gave us an edge, I thought.
You were facing a very tough Miami team. Dan Marino had been tearing up the AFC, throwing to Clayton and Duper, and Miami, of course, coached by the great Don Shula.
Well, it was a great team. They'd gotten most of the attention. They had gotten most of the awards for outstanding player and coach, and all their passing records were creating a lot of national interest. Our team was solid, and I know the experts, or those that really know the game, felt pretty strongly that we would beat them. We were faster than they were and more explosive than they were, and it became evident pretty quickly going into the game.
It was very evident. You handled them really extremely easily. Bill, it was probably the most efficient game that I remember a team playing in the Super Bowl. You agree?
Well, it could have been. We scored in virtually every opportunity, but we had field position throughout that first half, if you'll recall. We kept forcing them to punt. They'd punt around midfield, and we'd drive it in for a touchdown. And it was a good game from the standpoint of the artistic part, because we ran well, we passed well, we rushed Marino well, we made our interceptions. So it was really the complete game.
So I mentioned earlier, Dan Marino had been burning up the National Football League, throwing to two wide receivers, Clayton and Duper, but you shut him down in that game. How'd you do it?
Well, I think the pass rush had a lot to do with it, then the changes in coverage. But we were just quick enough that it made a difference. We weren't quite getting to him, but we were forcing him to sort of rush his throws. And he was so used to doing so well. I think he, early in the game, became a little frustrated or anxious and kept waiting for something to happen. And we just kept the pressure on him, and he never quite get in sync.
2 Super Bowl wins in the 80s. One of those carry more weight than the other?
Well, I'm sure the first one was a great thing for San Francisco. We had never won a championship in San Francisco, and our fans had waited so many years, and it was a Cinderella team. But it was a great team because we beat the best teams in the league that year twice. And so we proved that we were the true champions. The second Super Bowl was one really of an outstanding football team, in sync all season, and the chemistry of the team was just perfect.
And that second win also established you as perhaps the best team of the decade.
Well, we'll see. We still have more years to go, and we'd like to get another one.
Bill, thanks a lot for being with us today, and we'd like to thank Macy's for putting this together. Now you fans...
All right. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that little segment. Bill Walsh and the late Wayne Walker both, will be missed. The Niners. That was from a clip from 1987. That interview was conducted back in 1987. Niners, of course, they're recapping the first 2 Super Bowl wins. 2 of the 3 they won by Bill Walsh. Of the 4 they won in the 1980s, of course, the Niners, of course, as we commemorate the 1984 49ers Super Bowl season, winning their 40-year anniversary. Boy, it was not that long ago when the Niners won that Super Bowl. But it's some, and we always have the backdrop of that led up to 84 was going back to 1981 was there, and that was, of course, coming off the first 2 years of 2-14 in 79, and 6-10 in 1980. Then the Niners go 13-3 with the best record in pro football in 81, and they beat the Giants, and then beat the Cowboys. The catch for Dwight Clark that started it all for the 49ers, and then 2 weeks later they beat the Cincinnati Bengals at the old Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit to win the franchise's first Super Bowl. Then 1982 was considered, with the circumstances with the strike, kind of was an off year for them. And then in the strike shortened season, and then in 83, they get back there. They win their second division title in 3 years, and they go all the way to the NFC Championship game, and then lose that heartbreaker to the Redskins. over 2 questionable penalty calls, the pass interference on, I think, on Eric Wright, and then the holding call on Ronnie Lott, and that set up game-winning field goal for Mark Mosley. So the 84th season, they go on and dominate, and they really dominated. They dominated, and go 15-1, and then they beat the Dolphins to win their second Super Bowl in 4 years. So we're going to get ready to wrap it up for tonight. And I'm right now wearing this bump box cap. Special shout out to the guys. They're out there at the Gold Bar Whiskey Tailgate yesterday out in Levi Stadium on Sunday. And we're going to be trying to work, try to see if we can try to get them to be one of our sponsors. It's Bump Box. That's the big blaster that the 49ers bring out before the games. I did an interview with them yesterday and I will post that video up sometime tomorrow. So we are going to just call it a wrap for tonight. I am pretty much tired. I want to kind of lay low before I head off to bed. I'd like to thank for all of you watching on Niners Radio 49. And I know it's tough for Niner fans here. You look back in perspective that every year is different. It's hard to repeat. It's hard. I know everybody's gone through the heartbreaking loss in the Super Bowl to the Chiefs with all the injuries. And, every year is different in the NFL. And, player movement and with the salary cap, injuries, that's just part of life. And, I know hopefully the Niners could try to turn this thing around because they got the Packers next week. Then the week after that on December 1st to wrap around the conclusion of Thanksgiving 4-day weekend, they get the Buffalo Bills. And, the Niners they're going to have to win out or just try to stay afloat till they get people coming back, So, just for Niner fans, I know it's been tough and disappointing. And believe me, Kyle Shanahan's not going nowhere. And we just have to hang in there, guys. Just hang in there. And just, there'll be some day. We'll see what happens. Just going to have to take them one game at a time. Well, that's going to do it for now. And before we get off, before we go segment, I wanted to show you So they got a big sales event coming up Black Friday. And they have the boom. And these things they are very expensive. These things come up to about $299. And these things are not cheap. That will be something I'd love to get for definitely want to get somewhere down the road when I get some funding going though. So that's something not out of the rule out of the possibilities, but I have to keep it within the means of the budget. So check my guys out, check the fellas out over there at bumpbox.com. That's BUMPBOXX.com. So that's it for now. Professor B getting ready to call it a wrap for the night. Thank you for all of you for watching Monday Night 49ers tonight. Live, the aftermath. We do this every Monday night during the regular season after the 49ers game. And we'll be back doing this again next Monday night on 49ers Live. Hopefully it'll be a victory Monday. And hopefully, the Niners can try to tread water and they try to get back on track. So we'll have another edition of Niners 49ers tonight, or 49ers Live tomorrow. and we're going to look back of the 1989 49ers. Of course, it's 35 years celebrating them winning back-to-back Super Bowls, and we'll take a look back of the game against the Green Bay Packers. And then later in the week, we'll take a look back of week 12 for the 1984 49ers, their last Super Bowl win when they were taking on the LA Rams in Los Angeles at Candlestick Park. So for the latest news on 49ers, there's so much more. Oh, one more thing. We're going to do this, we're getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. I'd like to thank for all of you for watching 49ers live tonight. And we are going, as we call it, oh no. So here we go. We're gonna cue this video up, but so we're gonna load this video up in just a moment as we're gonna get ready to all right. So we'll wait for this video to load up. I want to show you that what George Kittle did for the pay homage to the veterans and giving back for the militaries, and so we're gonna I'm gonna cue this up. Give me just one moment. So okay, so we're gonna get ready to wrap it up tonight. Niners fall 20-17 to the Seahawks yesterday. Niners are at 5-5. Just a reminder, tomorrow we'll have another edition of 49ers Live later in the day. We're going to also have 49ers Tailgate Show. I'm going to be getting ready to put that video together. And that's that. So, latest news on 49ers, go to 49ers.com. And Niners Radio 49 is a presentation of Satellite Digital Media News, where every team is a fan and every fan is a voice of the network, home of champions. As I leave you tonight, we'll have our segment, the George Kittle helping with the needs with people in the military. You're going to enjoy this piece. Professor B signing off. You've been watching 49ers Monday Night Live tonight on Niners Radio 49. Forever faithful to the Bay. Have a very pleasant, good evening, everybody.
All right, welcome back to a Move the Chains episode of the 49ers First and 10 podcast presented by Cisco. I am with the People's tight end, George Kittle.
Hi.
Right after the Niners Salute to Service game. George, you were here with some families, some military families after the game. You started a tradition of hosting military families at Niners games. When did that tradition sort of start, and why is it important for you to keep it going?
I think it started, I'd have to ask my dad, but I'm pretty sure we started in 2021. And we've always just wanted to give back to the military. And there was a time where we sent a family to the Super Bowl through the Niners, a military family that I had met at a recent Pro Bowl. And so we sent them to the Super Bowl, and we're like, hey, let's just kind of keep this thing going. And I think we've sent we've done over 400 tickets on the road, at home, playoffs. And so it's just really fun to be able to go to every community that we play in, to be able to send military members and their families to these games, just because I think football games are just such a fun experience. Kids have so much fun. Everybody loves watching football. So just trying to give them something fun to do on the weekend, but also show them how much, how big of fans we are of them and how much we support them.
Yeah, you and the entire Kittle family treat these families to a 49ers experience. What do you think those families take away from it, and what do you take away from these moments?
You know, for them, all I hope they take away from it is that they have support from everybody in the 49ers organization, and every football fan out there supports them, and I hope they just have so much fun. What I take away from it is just being able to give back just a little bit, like a football ticket. To me, it's very easy for me to go out there and get that. I can, get tickets for my friends and stuff like that, but to be able to give it to an entire military family, entire platoon, whoever it is, it's easy for us to do that, and just to show them military, who, in my opinion, doesn't always get highlighted in the ways that they need to, and they need more people to, go out of their way to support them. And so that's all I really care about, is just giving that extra support, and the fact that my family has my back doing it makes it feel even better.
Well, George, you are the 49ers Salute to Service Award nominee this year. As of many years in this recent history, tell me what this honor means to you this year especially.
Oh, I mean, this is my fourth time being nominated, which is an absolute honor. And like the whole award for the entire league every single year, it's just all these guys. And it's not just the nominees. There's so many players that go above and beyond for the military. Like Christian McCaffrey does a ton for the military, a lot of guys in our team. But all over the league, just the support that you see for the military, it's just so important. And the fact that, every team does it, it's just awesome, because there's so many guys out there going above and beyond, just trying to throw a little bit of support, trying to throw a little bit of gratitude, and just showing as much love as they possibly can.
Well, it's pretty clear that your support for the military is more than just a cause. It's clearly a passion for you.
Thank you.
Is there a certain moment where you realized how impactful you've been to the military community?
Oh, you know what? I would just say every family that I meet, and meeting their kids, and just the smiles on their faces, that means the world to me. And, win or lose, getting the opportunity to, come visit with them after games, it means a lot to me, just because I have no idea the things that they've gone through in their lives, whether they're on tour, whether they've lost a loved one or something like that. And just 5, 10, 15 minutes of just talking to them about, how they're doing, where they're from, putting a smile on their face, that warms my heart, and I hope it does for other people who do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, George, for chatting with me today about your Salute to Service Award nomination. Faithful, head over to 49ers.com to vote for George for the Salute to Service Award this year, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.
See ya. I'll support it.